Hello everyone, my name is Katya and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this headband. It's an easy pattern. We work half double crochets in the rows, then we slip stitch the two sides together on the back. You can also add a nose and whiskers if you want to, like I did here. It is size adjustable and you can make it any size of your choice. For this project I'm using number 4 medium weight yarn with a 5.5mm crochet hook. We're going to start with the slip knot and a chain of 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Into the third chain from the hook, we're going to work 1 half double crochet. So don't count this one, but count 1, 2, 3. Into this stitch right here, work 1 half double crochet. Work 1 half double crochet into the next chain. And that's the repeat, is just working 1 half double crochet across your chain. Continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this row. At the end of row 1 you should have 12 half double crochets. Now row 2 is the repeat row. Chain 1, turn your work, and back into that very first stitch we're going to work 1 half double crochet. Work 1 half double crochet into the next 11 stitches. Continue working like this and I'll meet you at the end of this row. You should have 12 half double crochets. When you come to the end of this row, you do have 1 stitch left right here. Don't forget to work your half double crochet into that stitch. And here at the end, you should have 12 half double crochets. For row 3 and the rest of the rows, we're just going to repeat row 2. We're going to chain 1, turn our work, and then work 1 half double crochet into the stitches. So I just worked 1 half double crochet into the first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet into the 11 stitches. And like that I'm going to continue and work on my rows, and I'll let you know how many rows I worked on. So I'll meet you back once I have all my rows finished. I worked a total of 48 rows and this is how it looks like. You want to try yours on and make sure it wraps around your head. Mine is measuring about 22 inches long. Let's slip stitch the two sides together and I'll show you how that's done. Let's go ahead and fold these two sides together. This row is my last row that I just finished working on, and this is my first row with the chains right here. I'm going to insert my hook using back loops only. So here we have 2 loops, but this time we're only going to pick up the back loops of each stitches. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into the first loop of the first stitch, and then pick up the loop of the last half double crochet that I worked on, tighten it, and using this loop right here, we're going to slip stitch into this loop. This way it'll be easier for us to slip stitch these two sides together. Let's go ahead and pick up the next loop of 2 stitches. So here's my first loop, and then I'm going to go to the back stitch and pick up 1 loop from that side and slip stitch together. Same thing, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the next stitch, back loop, and then the stitch from the back loop as well, and slip stitch together. Now I'm just going to continue and pick up the next 2 loops and slip stitch. Again, pick up the next 2 loops and slip stitch. I'm going to continue and slip stitch these 2 sides together. Here I'm coming to the end and I'm going to go ahead and finish slip stitching. Now this is how it looks like. You slip stitch these 2 sides together, and then if we turn it, it looks like this. Let's go ahead and work single crochets all around the side. We're going to chain 1, so don't fasten up, just chain 1. And now just find your stitch and work a single crochet. Now we're using the sides of the stitch. I'm going to go ahead and work this yarn tail in, and do your best here. Just pick up any of the side stitches that you can and work a single crochet using the spaces. One thing to keep in mind here is you don't want to make your single crochets too loose. You want it to be a little bit tighter so it fits better. And that's all you're going to do here is you're going to pick up your stitches, the side of the stitches, and you're going to work your single crochet using those stitches. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to continue and work on my single crochets around, and I'll meet you at the end of this round to show you what to do next. I worked a total of 48 single crochets. Now I'm going to try and add one single crochet right on top of the slip stitches that we did. So I'm going to pick up that stitch or the loop of the stitch and work my last single crochet. So that will be my 49th single crochet. Now if you feel like it's a little tight, you can add more if you want to, but for me 49 single crochets worked great. And all I need to do now is just slip stitch into the first single crochet, which is right here, and fasten off. Let's repeat and work single crochets on this side now, and I'm inserting my hook right where we slip stitched these two sides together, right in front of it. I'm just going to pick any half double crochets and wrap my yarn around the hook and pull through. Hold on to your yarn tail and chain one. Go back into that very same stitch and work your first single crochet. I'm going to work this tail in, and now I'm just going to work a single crochet using the next row of half double crochets. And then same thing, I'm going to find the next half double crochet row and work my single crochet using the side of that row. And again, pick up the side of the stitch and work one single crochet. And like that, continue working. Now, since I had 49 single crochets on this side, I'm going to try to work 49 single crochets on this side. And I'll meet you at the end to show you what to do next. Here I finished working 49 single crochets. Let's go ahead and slip stitch into the first single crochet to end this round. And we can cut the yarn and fasten off. Let's go ahead and work on these yarn tails really quickly and then we'll move on. I'm going to go ahead and bring my needle using the half double crochet row right over here next to the slip stitches and just pick up the back loops of those stitches. Insert your needle and pull through. Now let's go ahead and come back down using back loops again and pull through and come back up, dropping one loop and pull through. Now let's go ahead and repeat same thing with this one, and we can cut this yarn tail. I'm going to show you how to add the nose and the whiskers. Now you want to use black yarn, but for this video I'm just going to be using brown yarn so you can see better. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the magic ring. Now if you're having a hard time with your magic ring, you can chain 4 and slip stitch into the first chain to create a ring that way. It's up to you. But if you're going to work on the magic ring, go ahead and hold on to your yarn tail with your thumb, wrap your yarn around your 2 fingers, crisscross it in the front, hold on to your working yarn with your ring finger, insert your hook into the first circle, using the second circle, bring out a loop, twist it, go into the working yarn and chain 1. Here we have a ring with the chain 1. Chain 1 more. This chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. We're going to go ahead and work 12 double crochets into the ring. So here's 1, 2, 3. Continue working on your double crochets until you have a total of 12 double crochets. Here I worked a total of 12 double crochets. Go ahead and pull on this yarn tail to tighten the center. And the last thing we're going to do is slip stitch into the first double crochet. So here's our chain 2. Don't slip stitch into those chains 2, but use the double crochet. Insert your hook and slip stitch. Now cut your yarn, leaving a long tail for sewing. Remove your hook and tighten it. Now you can go ahead and cut this yarn tail a little bit more to trim it down. Now if you started off with chain 4 and a slip stitch, you might want to add a couple of stitches in the center to keep it closed. I'm going to go ahead and tie it a little bit more. And here we worked on the nose. Let's go ahead and find the center. So here is our slip stitches that we did. We're going to fold it using those slip stitches and come to the front. And here, using this row, we're going to attach our nose. So I'm going to go ahead and place it right in the center. And I'm going to go ahead and pin it down. You can skip the pinning down if you want to, but I'm just going to leave it there. It'll be easier for me to sew. And now we're just going to sew this in place. What I'm going to do is use the back loops. So I'm going to insert my needle using the headband, and then I'm going to pick up the back loop of that stitch from the nose. And I'm just going to do a running stitch. And then repeat. I'm going to pick up a stitch, just one loop from the band, and one loop, the back loop from the nose, and do a running stitch. And same thing to the next one. And I'm going to repeat this all around. You're trying to pick up the loops as close as you can to the nose so the stitches don't show. If you're having a hard time with sewing it on, you can always hot glue it on. So here we're coming to the end of the nose. So bring your needle all the way in and bring it out. Now turn your work. And now we're just going to use a couple of stitches and weave it back and forth so it kind of stays in place. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Our nose is attached. Let's go ahead and work on the whiskers. Here I have my needle ready to go with a long piece of yarn. We're going to skip this row right here, and we're going to start right on top. So here is our nose, and if you measure one stitch up, we're going to insert our needle using that stitch right here. You just want to leave some sort of a space between the nose and the whiskers. Now hold on to the yarn tail. So here I'm holding on to the yarn tail so it doesn't escape. And now I'm just going to go ahead and count 3 rows. So here is row 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to bring my tail or the yarn towards the top. And I'm going to insert my needle using that space and pull through. And here our first whisker is done. So once our first whisker is done, let's go ahead and work on the second one. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this stitch right here and this stitch, and I'm going to insert my needle using that stitch right there from the back. Like so. And now I'm going to skip this 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and bring my needle going in straight. So now we're going to skip 1, 2 stitch and insert our needle using that space right here. And now we need to bring it down a little bit. So I'm going to skip 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and somewhere here I'm going to insert my needle. Here's our first set of whiskers. Let's go ahead and add a loop right where we finished. We're going to pick up the stitches. Here we have a loop. Insert the needle using the loop and pull. Now we're going to bring it towards this side. And what I want to do here is I'm just going to bring my needle towards the center. Like so. Make sure it's not showing in the front. But what we're going to do is we're going to add knots to hold it in place. So here I'm just going to go ahead and add 3 knots. And you can cut this. Now we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Here's our finished headband. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.